Congratulations, you've finally made the decision to buy a motorcycle. You've done hours of research, you've watched videos, you've read articles, and you know which model you want to buy, and you're still hesitant because you don't know what you need to expect when you go to the dealership to get your first bike. In the last 25 years, I've purchased over 60 motorcycles, many of which came from dealerships and a lot came from private party. This video is going to help you through the process in understanding how to buy a motorcycle, what to look for, and what to expect. We're going to start by assuming you know what kind of motorcycle you want. We're not going to talk about that right now. I'm building a full series of motorcycle videos around the Ninja 500 because that's what I'm going to buy today. We are here at Tejas Motorsports in Crosby, Texas. It's an adventure lifestyle brand. They've got all kinds of motorcycles, so let's go take a look.
Make sure you get my good side.
Which side's your good side?
Oh, whichever.
So these CF Moto 450 SSs have been super hot. If you've been watching my videos, you know that I also have an Ibex 450. They've got one back there right now. But I'm a sucker for Kawasaki. I've had many Kawasaki's, and I absolutely love the Ninja 500. I have suggested this bike to so many people over the years as their first bike, but I've never owned one. So now's the time to change that. Before you buy any motorcycle, make sure you sit on it. Make sure you like the way it feels. Make sure it fits your body. Make sure you're comfortable with it. If it's too big, if it's too heavy, it's not going to work for you. You need to be able to be confident on the bike. The process is very similar to buying a car. When you go to the dealership, there's a lot of paperwork to be done. There's a lot of different departments that have to be touched when buying the vehicle. So don't expect it to be like buying a shirt where you walk into the store, pick out what you want, and walk home with it immediately. It's going to take some time. Motorcycles are expensive. It's a very expensive hobby. But make sure when you're looking to buy a motorcycle, you plan and you budget for gear. Buy some good gear. Helmet, jacket, gloves, riding shoes, or boots, something that will protect you in the event that you fall. Please take your motorcycle safety foundation course if you're in the US. I know other countries have something similar, but the more education you can get can keep you safer and keep you riding longer. Don't let your buddies tell you you need to get a 600 or an 800 or anything big. Start with something you're comfortable with, and it doesn't have to be super sporty. It could be something like these WR125s. If you're looking to do some trail riding, if you're looking to do some off-road adventuring, these are great ways to start. They're lightweight, they're inexpensive, and they're a lot of fun. Once you get a lot more skill underneath of you, you can get something that's sportier, faster, more power. The reason people don't suggest bikes like these when you're brand new is because of the throttle response. It's going to be a lot harder to control. Yes, you could do it, but these are easier to get away from you because of that power than something like the 450s or the 250s, for example. Suzuki still has a 250. Random tip, don't ever tell them how much you want to pay per month if you're financing the bike. Talk about the out-the-door pricing, make sure it includes all fees, all taxes, get that to a price that you're okay with, and then figure out the payment. You're going to be excited, and that's okay, but don't get too excited over one motorcycle, because if you do that, then that dealership might have a chance to say, oh, we're not going to negotiate. They see your excitement, they see you're already committed, and they know they've got you. Some dealerships even have the ability to sort their inventory list on their website by how long they've been in inventory. And if that's the case, you can look at an older one that might have been on the sales floor for a while and have some negotiating power on the price of that bike. That's always a very useful thing if you're willing to change what you need on colors or features in the bike. For example, the Ninja 500 I got was a base model. I didn't necessarily want to pay the extra amount to get the SE that has the extra features that I don't really care about. But if you do know exactly what you want, the exact color, the exact trim level, and you know that they have it in stock, look around at different dealerships, look at a dealer group to see if they can look at different locations that they've got. For Adventure Lifestyle, I'm in Houston, they've got a dealership in Grapevine. So when I went to Hunter and I said, hey, I want to get this Ninja 500 that's a base model, that's black, can you help me? He called up his dealership in Grapevine and said, yeah, send it down to me. They did a vehicle trade, got it into his inventory, and I could buy it from them. Once you get to a price that you and the dealer agree on, you can sign on that dotted line to say, I'm ready to purchase it. Then there's going to be a substantial amount of paperwork after that. We walk through the paperwork right here. I'll go through some bits and pieces of it, but while that paperwork's getting done, we've got Carter over in the service bay who's putting this together. He let me film some of the process, so let's take a look at that build too.
Do you know what the Adventure Advantage is at all?
I've only heard bits about it. So
okay, fantastic. It's our way of saying thank you for doing business with us. What this is going to be the next 3 years, you're going to get better than employee pricing. It's going to be cost plus 10% on all OEM parts, accessories, and or apparel. Now again, that's for 3 years at Tejas Motorsports and all the other 28 different adventure lifestyle dealerships across the country. Now, are you familiar with the GPS system at all?
Yes.
Okay, so go over it with you again. This is the Ripcord GPS, is also coming on the bike. Again, with the Adventure Advantage, it's the next 3 years we already paid for your subscription. This is a motion activated GPS. If you're at work or doing something else, your bike moves an inch, you get a notification. And the big factor is if this thing ends up getting stolen, which does happen.
It's
Exactly, it's Houston. That GPS is actually worth $5,000. Okay. That's not like an in-store credit, that is a check in your pocket. Do me a favor, just verify everything's spelled correctly. I am painfully dyslexic and they still have me do all the paperwork here. All right, here's the odometer disclosure. This is a little piece of paper that says how many miles are on your bike.
I want to show this.
Okay. Key factor. It says 1. That is actually inaccurate.
Why is it inaccurate?
Because there's actually 0 miles on this bike. It'll be turned on for the first time today. So you're buying the Ninja 500. This thing is going to come with 12 months factory warranty. Now, that's not a full warranty. That warranty does not cover your batteries, your tires, your bulbs, your brake pads.
Wearable items.
Wearable items. It will, however, cover your engine, transmission, drivetrain, fielding system, braking system, suspension, ECU, wiring harness, and the other 22,000 moving parts that I'm not smart enough to know. Cool, and that's it, brother. I got some copies for you. Cool. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Every dealership is going to have different types of fees that you pay. Every location might have different taxes and document fees, all kinds of things like that. Make sure you've got the itemized list of what you are paying for in your total purchase price and you know what those things mean. Ask questions if you've got them. They can explain them to you as best as possible and make sure that you're comfortable paying those prices. If you happen to see the same thing listed more than once, that is not a good thing. Call them out on that. I'm not saying this happened here, I'm just saying I've heard of it happening in places before where you're paying for a title and then you're paying for a title. If this is your first time, it's not a bad thing to bring somebody with you to the dealership to help talk through those numbers and talk through those different things so that you know you are getting the best deal you possibly can. Buying from a private seller can be a good thing in the sense that you can get a good deal. They've got one bike to sell. You know that they're invested in selling that bike, and then you can just ride off with it pretty easily. You do the paperwork and the title processing all yourself at that point, but if you've never done that before, that can be confusing. One major pro to buying from a dealership rather than a private sale is the fact that you then have the support of the dealership after the purchase. Things like the Adventure Advantage that we've talked about in this process here. I get that discount to go back in and get additional supplies, maintenance supplies, parts, accessories, all of those things you can't get from a private seller. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get a brand new bike in a crate, unbuilt, which means you are the first person to ride it, the first person to touch it. And that's just super cool. This is why you're paying the build fee and the shipping fees. The dealership has to ship this in from the manufacturer, and it comes in this condition where they still have to essentially build the bike. Most of it's together, but they do have to do things. They have to fill gas, they have to put battery in, attach windscreen, bars, all kinds of stuff. It's not, again, like buying a shirt where it just rolls out and you can pick it up and go.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is
With all the technology these days, these bikes even have to be programmed before you can start them, so that's what it's doing now. And we have first start. Look at that sexy bike. Brand new, ready to rip. If you've got a Ninja 500, be sure to subscribe for more content coming. I've got the break-in process, I've got the break-in service, and I'm doing a track day in a couple weeks, so stay tuned. I want to give a huge shout out to Hunter and Cameron from Tejas Motorsports of the Adventure Lifestyle family. Those guys were amazing today. Just a fun process. They're good guys to talk to, good guys to ride with. Cameron I've known for a long time as a riding buddy, but if you have any questions about the vehicles that they carry, shoot them a message, let them know that I've sent you, and they'll take great care of you, I promise you that. Hunter was actually one of the first people I met when I moved to the Houston area because I moved here without a dirt bike, and I was looking for the best possible deal I could find on a KX 250, and that's still the 250 that I ride to this day, and that was 5 years ago. Those guys helped me out then, they're helping me out now. It's truly just a family of riders. It's awesome. Break-in, according to Kawasaki, is 600 miles within a certain RPM. I'll go into details in a later video about that. I'll cover the whole break-in process with you, including the break-in services. So if you've got a Ninja 500 or if you've got a Kawasaki that you've got questions about, leave comments below and subscribe to the channel because I've got a ton more stuff coming.